just a few more thoughts on this subject, and a simile in life. Now, many of us would have experienced what it was like to be in a relationship that wasn't stable, and you felt fearful about the instability, and you were not being your true self, you weren't being authentic, you were tiptoeing around on eggshells because of the instability of the relationship. And I'm not speaking from personal experience here. I've never been tiptoeing around in any of my relationships. If it wasn't working, I bring it to a head. But I know people who are like this, and they're kind of like, they stay with their partner because it's the devil that they know, because they're too afraid of what's out there, and the insecurity of being alone, and also having wasted that period of investment, however long the relationship's been. And obviously initially it was great, and you had lots of plans, and maybe you've even got kids and mortgage together and things like that. But at the end of the day, we can't live our lives under tyranny and fear. And so that's what it's like for me on YouTube. There's always this, is this video going to get the channel taken down? They're always changing their policies, and they introduce new shit, and then they just sweep over the whole of the world with the algorithm, obliterating whatever isn't complying with their new rules and regulations and policies, which they never really care to explain in too much detail. So it's like that. And so what I say to people when they're experiencing those sorts of fears and insecurities about the current relationship, which is never right, and it wasn't right for a long time, and they're always conveying that it's not right, and I'm like, well, why are you living in it? Why live in it if it's not right? And why would you want to continue your investment into property and children if you don't feel if it's right? You've got to really feel as if it's right before you make the investment into children and mortgages together and all those sorts of things. And I say to young people, it's difficult at the time, and of course I've been through some painful separations myself, and at the time it's horrendous, and there's a certain longing, and you feel empty and flat, and the carpet's been pulled out from under your feet. But as time would pass, and sometimes it takes a long time, people, sometimes it can take 5 or 10 years, but when it does, invariably what will happen is that we'll find a partner or a state of being which vastly exceeds the previous one. And so what I can say about being single is that I live an absolute ecstatic, blissful life. And the last thing I would ever want now in my life is anyone to compromise that. I have found the secret. I found the secret how to do it, and I'm in this beautiful, comfortable, humanistic state of mind and body. Everything is taken care of, everything is in order. And so why on earth would I want to try to compromise that and bring insecurity and potential upheaval? And it's not that, the worst thing about relationships is just watching them demise, isn't it? Watching them die. And it's kind of like you cling on because things start to get bad. Started off good, but then start to get bad. Then you start to see cracks and flaws, and then you start to argue a little bit, and then you've got this atmosphere, and it's kind of like, fucking hell, what do I want to do? What do I want to deal with this atmosphere for? An attitude, and lying next to someone that's unresponsive and inconducive, and no, I'm done with that shit, people. I'm done with it. And so be brave, take that leap, You're going into another life, yeah, sure. You're leaving all the old stuff behind, all that previous comfort, but you'll doubtless find more comfort, and you'll find more joy, and you'll find more freedom, and then you'll go, oh my goodness, why did I stick it out for so long in that other toxic relationship when it was never going anywhere? I knew it wasn't ever going anywhere. It's just fear that prevented me from doing it. And so look, what I know, when I'm going to be leaving YouTube in a day, is that 10% maximum will follow. What do I care about that? I don't care. Because it's only 10% of you that engage in any case. There's only 10% of you that are remotely any value to me in any case. There was only 17 of you out of a potential 300 that assisted me with manifesting my electric mountain bike. So what the fuck do I give about 95%? Nothing. I don't care at all. What do the numbers mean to me? Nothing. Am I getting the AdSense? Am I getting any payment? No, I'm not. So simply, people, I really, really do not care. In actual fact, I'm looking forward to it, because the ones that come over are the true Awaken Brave fans. They're the ones that are truly on the awakening journey and value what I say, and are hungry for more of the similar sorts of things that I impart. And so effectively, that's what I've wanted for a long, long time. And that's why I spend a lot of the time, you know, I have done on YouTube, cussing and you know, all this different sort of stuff, ranting, because I've always wanted to reduce the people that weren't serious. You know, they separate the wheat from the chaff. And so moving now will be separating the wheat from the chaff. And it's just a simple transition. I'll just make all the other videos on YouTube unlisted, so I've got them, and they'll be there forever unless some other shit happens, and then there won't be any worry about me losing all of those videos. Because at this time of my life, I consider that I've spoken a lot of sense over this last year and a half or 2 years, and if anybody wants a reference of what I'm about, then I can direct them to certain videos if I start communicating more with other people. So yeah, it's a case of not being remotely fear-based, being positive, optimistic, and going forward to a brighter future.